Patriot Front, a white supremacist organization birthed in the crucible of 2017's Charlottesville rally, represents a cautionary paradigm of ideological zeal thwarted by strategic ineptitude, actively undermining the white advocacy it seeks to champion. Under Thomas Rousseau's leadership, the group emerged from the neo-Nazi vanguard America, cloaking fascist ideals in a patriot nationalist aesthetic, khaki uniforms, masks, and American flags, to pursue a white ethnostate through a societal hard reset. Its vision, rooted in the Great Replacement conspiracy, hinges on exploiting unrest to preserve white demographic primacy against projections of a minority white America by 2045. Yet, nearly a decade later, Patriot Front remains a marginal entity, its 200 to 300 members and $15,000 to $30,000 monthly budget from propaganda sales dwarfed by mainstream advocacy groups like the NRA. Its tactics, propaganda dominating 80% of U.S. white supremacist output and 10 to 20 annual flash marches, generate fleeting media attention but no policy or cultural traction, instead inviting ridicule as cosplay feds or glowies on platforms like X. Rousseau's disciplined regime, with its unified messaging and militia-style training, ensures internal cohesion but fails to translate into external influence, regressing broader white supremacist goals through performative futility. FBI infiltration, confirmed in 2022 Idaho arrests, and legal setbacks, including a $2.75 million Boston lawsuit, expose vulnerabilities that deter recruitment and erode trust. The group's refusal to engage in mainstream politics, unlike European far-right parties such as AfD, locks it into a cycle of irrelevance, exacerbated by a media-saturated society that mocks rather than fears their theatrics. This essay dissects Patriot Front's biography, evaluates its negligible impact, critiques its strategic flaws, and proposes actionable pivots for white advocacy groups to counter demographic shifts. By leveraging the group's strengths while adopting mainstream tactics, such formations could transform Patriot Front's failures into a blueprint for relevance, challenging the trajectory toward a diverse America through disciplined, legitimate means. Biography: the rise and entrenched stagnation of a fringe formation. Patriot Front traces its origins to the turbulent aftermath of the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, where a fatal counter-protest confrontation shattered the neo-Nazi group Vanguard America. From this splinter, Thomas Rousseau, a 19-year-old Texan from the Dallas-Fort Worth suburbs, rebranded the remnants into Patriot Front, infusing it with a veneer of patriot nationalism to sanitize fascist ideals. Rousseau, whose high school columns espoused conservative views like campus carry and support for Donald Trump's 2016 campaign, positioned the group as defenders of a white ethnostate, rooted in the Great Replacement theory and a call for societal hard reset through non-electoral upheaval. By 2018, the organization had established chapters across the U.S., including in Idaho, Massachusetts, and Tennessee, with Rousseau overseeing operations from Texas as the central command hub. The group's biography reflects disciplined growth amid persistent vulnerabilities. Rousseau's leadership, articulate and centralized, ensures a singular voice, with concise, memorized speeches delivering unified messaging on white European heritage and anti-immigration stances. Members, estimated at 200 to 300 as of 2025, undergo rigorous vetting, including fitness mandates and monthly activism quotas, fostering a cult-like cohesion. Key figures like Graham Whitson, handling video production, and Ian Michael Elliott, managing Northeast recruitment, form an inner circle that coordinates nationwide efforts. The 122-acre Tennessee compound, acquired for training in networking and combat drills, symbolizes their commitment to paramilitary readiness, hosting events that blend fascist symbolism, fasces with American flags, with mandatory calisthenics and propaganda workshops. Yet, this biography is marred by self-inflicted wounds that stunt evolution. Rousseau's post-Charlottesville pivot avoided overt swastikas but retained masks and khaki uniforms, echoing 1930s black shirts while inviting Fed suspicions. Arrests, such as the 2022 Idaho Pride riot plot involving 31 members including Kieran Morris and Mitchell Wagner, and the 2021 New England vandalism by Austin Amato and Tristan Brady, expose operational fragility. Leaked chats from 2021 reveal membership ruts at 220 to 230, with infighting and expulsions for suspected infiltration. By 2025, events like the February Iowa Capitol March, 24 members, and Boston State House rally underscore persistence, but a January federal ruling ordering $2.75 million in damages to a black musician assaulted in 2022 Boston highlights legal tolls. Rousseau's decade-long tenure, while maintaining strategic congruence, has failed to scale the group beyond fringe status, modeling a biography of rigidity that alienates potential allies and reinforces isolation in a politically fragmented right-wing ecosystem. Impact: negligible gains amidst amplified ridicule and ideological regression. Patriot Front's impact on white supremacist discourse in American society is profoundly limited, confined to sporadic publicity that amplifies mockery rather than momentum, ultimately regressing the very causes it claims to champion. Dominating 80% of U.S. white supremacist propaganda in 2023 to 2025, with roughly 14 daily incidents of flyers, stickers, and banners, the group saturates campuses and urban areas, as seen in February 2025 recruiting efforts in Magee, Mississippi, where stickers targeted young adults. Their 10 to 20 annual flash demonstrations, peaking in 2023 with events in D.C., 150 members, and Austin, 100, generate viral footage on platforms like X, where chants of white pride and banners proclaiming "deport invaders" evoke fleeting outrage. Post-disaster optics, such as 2024 hurricane cleanups and 2025 Texas flood aid, briefly launder their image, portraying members as community helpers and drawing local media nods. Structured marches exemplify their operational strengths. Disciplined formations in khaki attire, unified chanting, and non-confrontational shields minimize arrests while maximizing cinematic appeal for recruitment reels. Masks serve dual purposes: anonymity for normal lives and an aura of intimidation. While Rousseau's brief, soundbite-ready speeches avoid the ramblings of multi-speaker chaos in peer groups. These elements ensure congruence, with a consistent Reclaim America theme evolving minimally since 2017, honing coordination through experience. The group's resilience shines in sustaining 200-300 members despite setbacks, outlasting volatile outfits like Atomwaffen, and exploiting media symbiosis by tipping journalists for coverage that SPLC and ADL reports then amplify as threats. However, this impact is overwhelmingly negative, transforming white advocacy into a punchline and eroding credibility across the spectrum. Public perception, dominated by X memes labeling them glowies or cosplay Nazis, stems from U-Haul cram sessions like the 2022 Idaho bust and flower-laying at monuments, perceived as weird pageantry rather than potent symbolism. The February 2025 Des Moines March, 24 members, and Boston rally drew condemnations from officials, with Iowa leaders decrying hate and fear from masked marchers. Legal repercussions, including the $2.75 million Boston judgment against Rousseau and the group, drain funds and deter joiners, while FBI informants, confirmed in Idaho, fuel paranoia and expulsions. Unlike influential lobbies like AIPAC, Patriot Front's visibility isolates them, alienating conservatives wary of extremism and neo-Nazis dismissing their sanitized patriotism. In a society confronting potential minority white status by 2045, their accelerationist tactics, provoking division without building consensus, fail to mobilize masses, instead regressing white supremacist goals by associating them with performative futility. Recruitment stagnates, with 2025 Magee stickers yielding no surge, and broader movements suffer as Patriot Front becomes a cautionary emblem of what not to emulate, hindering efforts to preserve demographic majorities through legitimate channels.